Well, here we are again. You never know what's going on here. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Parker. This is the Talk to the Mayor program for which really we keep moving things around a bit. This is March 13th, the second Monday in March. I think in February we were on the second Monday there. But this is, if you're tuning in right now, it's a little bit after 7 o'clock. You know, the whole daylight savings time is throwing everybody off. We are live on NCTV 14, your community access station, and we always come together at least, you know, once a month if we can with our mayor, so you have the opportunity to actually go direct to our mayor and ask him any questions that you may like, and we'll have that opportunity in just a little bit. First half of the program, we'd like to bring some guests in, and our first guest is our mayor. Hey, Mr. Mayor.
Hello, Mr. Parker. Always a pleasure to see you.
Nice to see you. And I love seeing you wearing the green.
That's right. We're taping and going live, actually, in St. Patrick's Day week. Uh-huh. So I thought I should observe, and I noticed in the monitor that my tie is still crooked. Let's see if I...
That's okay, as long as the government in town isn't.
No,
hey, ho, hey, ho.
Never is. People may question why an Armenian boy is observing St. Patrick's Day. I want to note yet again that the Armenians were mentioned in a 9th or 10th century Irish litany of saints. So there you have it.
Let's face it, Mr. Mayor, you always find a way to bring them in no matter what the holiday is.
You betcha.
There's always that connection.
You betcha.
The 6 degrees of separation from Mayor Z.
Well, maybe at the next show I'll talk about how pastrami really had its roots in Armenia.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
We'll stick with corned beef for the month of March. So how you been feeling?
Pretty darn good.
Yeah?
Pretty darn good. Getting stronger every day.
Yeah?
You better watch out.
Hey, I saw you hoppling in here. You know, that's a pretty good sign. Now, are you? What's the plan? Is it the transition off of the walker to the cane and then upright again?
I'm being weaned off the walker. I still keep it as a backup and using the cane as often as I can just to build things up.
Mm-hmm. What kind of therapy are you having right now?
Stuff to rebuild arm and leg strength.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Now, do you go out for that, or they come into your house?
I go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
for security reasons. I can't disclose the location.
I'm sure you can't disclose your location either.
Right.
We know that.
That's right.
But it's good to see that you're up and about because
I'm doing my best.
It's amazing when you're not here how many people go, okay, so what's really going on? Where is the mayor? All the concerns in the world. You still doing your regular office hours?
Oh yes. Office hours continue to be on Thursday. 9 to 10 a.m. at the Senior and Disabled Center, 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at my office in the Town Hall. Please stop by. I find if I don't post it on Facebook and remind people, I actually get people coming in. If I do post a reminder, nobody shows up.
Nobody shows up. Oh, he's going to be there.
Go figure.
Now, I noticed you brought a couple of guests with you this evening.
Yes.
And it's nice to see the food share emblem over there. And
That's
we have
right.
Beatrice. Now, let me make sure that I get this right, Beatrice. Beatrice Maslowski.
That's
right?
it.
Very
and
good.
and of course we have a face that we recognize here, and Carol Lebrecht is our Human Services Coordinator for Newington here, and you work directly with Karen Futoma.
I do.
And how many years have you been involved in Newington with doing these things?
22 years.
22 years?
Hard to believe, right?
Now, how did it, when it first started out, did we know right away there was a big need, or how did the whole thing come together in town as far as the food bank goes in Newington?
When I came here 22 years ago, the food bank was in existence already. There were some local folks, John and Ginny Stage were key in getting that going years ago. And it was very small scale. It was probably 25 to 30 folks a month that used the food bank. And now, fast forward, we have about 150 households every month using the food bank.
And now, Beatrice, you're a little bit of a, I don't know, you're a little bit of a can I call it a new addition when I talk about the Hunger Action Team? I guess you've been around for a while, but we're getting it going pretty strong here in Newington, right?
We are. We had our first meeting here in Newington with the Hunger Action Team in June of 2014, thanks to Barbara Warmer, a local resident. And she had seen an article about Food Share's Hunger Action Teams and contacted Food Share and said, we would like to start a Hunger Action Team in Newington. She was interested in getting engaged in her community and thought hunger would be a good issue for her to work on. So We were growing our hunger action teams at that point. We now have 20 hunger action teams at Food Share.
All over the state?
No, Food Share just serves Hartford and Tolland counties.
Oh,
so
okay.
within Hartford and Tolland counties, we have now a total of 20 teams. At the time in 2007, we had, I think, 6 or 7 teams, and 4 years ago, Food Share hired dedicated resources, my colleague Jim Palm and myself, to work full-time on managing the existing hunger action teams and growing them to our current status of 20 hunger action teams per town. So we were happy to come to Newington and work with Barbara and the great resources that are here.
Now let me see the town crier there. That's what really caught my attention. Now that was the front page of the latest edition of the town crier. I don't know if anybody can zoom in on that.
Get a zoom
what the
on
mayor's
that.
holding. This is and actually, you know, the town crier is a great way to spread the word here in Newington. It's been around for a long time. And we saw that on the front page and said, boy, we're going to see if we can get a hold of them. And it was so nice that right away Beatrice got back to me and told me the setup here in Newington. And I mean, it's so hard to believe, you know, I guess for a lot of people to understand the need here in Newington, but we always see it when we do the collections at Christmas time for both food and toys. Mm-hmm. But Mr. Mayor, what do you see a lot of this firsthand yourself as far as what our need is here?
I saw it firsthand when I was able to do Meals on Wheels deliveries.
Yeah.
You know, they're definitely drove home to me that hunger is not a city problem, not simply a city problem, not an inner city problem. We have people in Newington who would go hungry if it weren't for organizations like Food Share, like Meals on Wheels and other outreach efforts. I know it's hard to believe, but it happens. It happens.
Carol, give us an idea of the maybe the psychographics of the people in Newington that are using the food bank, because we know it's not just your perception. Reality may be totally different.
We probably have about 40% elderly using the food bank, and we have a real good collaboration with the Senior Center. The Senior Center does energy assistance applications, and they, identify folks and send them over. So we're working with each other to identify people that may be in need. And then we have probably another 30 to 35% families with children. We had 900 individuals overall that we helped this past holiday season, 400 households. And then we have some disabled adults and adults who are just struggling in our continuing slow economy.
And there's that middle class that keeps getting pushed out too. I think a lot of people have the perception that it's just people that may be out of work or something else, but there's a lot of people that it may just be a temporary fix. But what we were saying before, the money runs out before the month runs out. I mean,
exactly.
that's the plain fact of the matter. So a lot of the people
the benefit is we have some flexibility so that if there were 2 parents working in a household and one parent lost their job, they might be over income from many programs, but we have some flexibility because it's a program based on donations to be able to assist folks here in Newington.
So if you could, Beatrice, give us an idea about how the whole Hunger Action Team started. How it all came together. Whose idea was it? Who said that we need a team? And how did that all come together with Food Share?
Well, we're located in Bloomfield, Connecticut in a warehouse, and it was around maybe 2005 that our then CEO, Gloria McAdam, received a phone call from somebody in the Bloomfield school system who said, we have hungry kids that are coming to school in Bloomfield, and you're Food Share and you have food. We want to come and talk to you about it. So from that meeting, they got together with a group of other local people, that would be businesses, faith-based organizations, other nonprofits, with a focus on just what was going on in Bloomfield. And it was so successful that they started rolling out hunger action teams in Vernon and in Enfield with existing Food Share resources. My supervisor, Sarah Santora, was working in Vernon. George Lombardo was up in Enfield. So we had numerous Food Share resources that were out in addition to their other responsibilities, doing this organizing at the community level. And they're asking the important question, why are people in this community hungry? And collectively, what can we do to solve it? Mm-hmm. So that was really, the successes and traction were such that we were able to eventually acquire funding to hire 2 full-time resources. So my colleague Jim Palma and I manage currently the 20 hunger action teams and have grown them from the 7 that we had when we were originally hired approximately 4 years ago. So it really focuses on each of the communities are very unique and they're very different. Different social services have different channels of distribution and different availability, but we have the ability through Food Share and our almost 300 partner agencies to be out in the 42 towns that Food Share serves, understanding what the needs are and working very, very hard to meet those needs by providing food to people that definitely need it.
Yeah, it really is something to see. And I know what I was saying earlier, the drive that we do at Christmas time is huge. But I think a lot of people forget that it's not just Christmas and Thanksgiving where we need it. We need to keep those shelves busy all the time. How are we doing now, Carol, as far as our food bank here in March?
We are blessed. We put the word out and Newington responds. So we have food drives coming in from civic organizations, from houses of worship, from schools, from businesses, from private residents on an ongoing basis. When we hit our low point is typically throughout the summer, maybe June through the end of September. Folks are on vacation. I think we're focused on our own busy lives, and we forget that people are still in need during that time period, and that's when our shelves get pretty bare.
How about we have some of the kids in the schools and stuff getting involved with their food bank too? Do we see any activity coming from the high schools and stuff giving you a hand over there?
We do. Every year, several different organizations from the schools are involved, both with the holiday program in November and December and throughout the year. This past year, we had a very innovative program where a school nurse in one of the elementary schools approached and said, it's just killing me to see all of this healthy food that is part of the school lunches, and the kids aren't used to it, and it's going in the trash. And isn't there something we can do? And so she powwowed with her powers that be, and we got permission from the health department, and we were able to collaborate, and she ensured that the food, cheese and fruit and milk cartons and yogurt cartons that weren't being used got directly to refrigeration. And we got a volunteer to go there, pick it up, and bring it and be able to distribute it through the food bank.
Really?
So that was dynamite, and there are several other schools looking to get involved in that. So we're hoping that we expand that program.
Yeah, so it's not just non-perishables anymore. It's something that could be perishable and it could be going out like within the next day or two, right?
Exactly. We have a couple of refrigerators and 4 freezers, so we take it all.
Do you work with the shelters too?
Not so much. So the churches in town, the houses of worship in town, kind of share their distributions with the shelters. We do certainly referrals to the shelters. Sometimes we get the size 10 cans that we really can't use at the food bank, and we'll do a distribution of that to the shelters. But for the most part, that happens through the houses of worship in town.
Yeah, and Steve, I really appreciate you mentioning healthy eating, because it isn't just the quantity of food that we deliver. We really are working on, we have our footprint at the regional market, so we have access to tons of fresh produce that comes through Food Share toward the end of its life that, thanks to our wonderful volunteers, gets turned around very quickly, and it's out on our mobile food shares within 24 hours. So we really want to be looking at the quality of the food that we're providing. We understand the importance, particularly with children, in particular with seniors that could have special dietary needs. They need low sodium foods. So we're actually asking for certain specific foods for the food drives that will target these populations that are potentially at risk. So we really do want to look toward providing healthy food as part of our work in our hunger action teams. And, that's a critical component for us as we move forward at Food Share. And also in the Newington Hunger Action Team, working with community gardens at this point, reaching out to some local farmers. Do you have some excess produce? Helping to get coupons to get people to the farmers market here, so everybody can have the opportunity to participate in the farmers market during the summer season. So we really do have an emphasis on healthy food.
All right,
It's
if you're
not just mac and cheese
If
anymore.
you're just joining us, we're the Talk to the Mayor program here live on March 13th, the second Monday in March. We will be back on again the first Monday in April, on April 3rd. But we've had some scheduling things going on here with the mayor and such, so we moved it to the second Monday for both February and March, but we'll be back on again the first Monday. And this particular program is live right now on your NCTV 14, and I guess, yeah, she's about a quarter after 7 or so, give or take a few minutes. We moved the program back to 7 o'clock because there were some people here that were putting in quite a few hours after 10, 11 o'clock at night here at Channel 14, so we decided to kind of back it up a little bit for the start of the program to help them out. And this particular program, we're talking about the need that we have here in Newington to feed people. There's a great organization that's part of Food Share called the Hunger Action Team, and Newington has just become part of the Hunger Action Team. If you do have any questions and you want to send them along, we're not going to be taking phone calls per se, but we'll make sure that our folks in the control room send your questions along, and you could just send them to talktothemayor@nctv.org, talktothemayor@nctv.org, or you can call in and they'll pass the question along. The phone number is 860-667-5814, 860-667-5814, or talk to the mayor at nctv.org. I just wanted to ask you, Carol, where did we come up with all these people in Newington? How did you get the Newington team involved? How did you get out to the community and get them so activated here in town?
Well, I wish I could claim credit. Barbara Warmer, it was her, involvement, wish to get involved, and coordinating with Food Share. But we sent out letters to all of the civic organizations, all of the houses of worship, tried to get in representation from all the various stakeholders that are concerned about hunger in Newington. And we've got a good email following. We generally have anywhere from 8 to 20 plus members at a given meeting. We meet the first Tuesday of every month at the Senior and Disabled Center at 5:30. And we would love to have more input and more involvement, new ideas on how to get rid of hunger here in Newington.
So what do you do in these meetings every month? What kind of discussions do you have at the meetings?
Well, right now we're discussing a potential program in the fall, a wine and beer tasting, which would be a fundraiser to support hunger and the food bank, and possibly more food vouchers for the farmers markets. We have supported the school program, that pilot program that I discussed where we were saving the food. We've explored expanding on awareness on the free lunch and reduced lunch program, making people aware that is assistance that they can receive, making people aware of SNAP benefits, which is the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, and how to apply for that. They can apply. We can assist them in the Newington Human Services.
Excuse me. As long as we're there, can we talk a little bit about what SNAP is? I mean, how you say that supplemental nutrition. Tell us a little bit about that, as long as you mentioned that.
So that was formerly known as food stamps. Most people are more familiar with that term. It's assistance that can be used for food items only. The amount that you receive is based on your income. It's federally subsidized, and it's a program to try and keep people at a level of sustenance. Mm-hmm. What we find is because it's food items only, people don't have the money to buy personal hygiene products, cleaning products, any toilet paper, things that are not food are not part of that benefit. So when we have food drives and when we're stocking our shelves at the food bank, that's always like, Christmas when we get those kind of items, and they go off the shelves very quickly.
So you're looking for more than just food, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so a lot of people don't know that just the basic necessities of life could also be at the food pantry, or are at the food pantry.
Exactly.
Now, so Beatrice, when you look at all these teams that are out there now, and you've got, you said you've got 20 teams in
20 teams.
And that's in Hartford and Talon County?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's happening with the rest of the state? I know there's Connecticut Food Bank down in the New Haven area. How are we doing as far as the state of Connecticut goes, as far as feeding people that are hungry?
Well, we have had meetings with Connecticut Food Bank and talked about the concept of a hunger action team and the work that we're doing here. So hunger is a problem throughout all of Connecticut's 169 towns. But like I said, we at Food Share and our hunger action teams are focused in Hartford and Tolland counties. We have some neighborhood-based hunger action teams in Hartford because that's obviously the largest pocket of poverty that we see in our service area. So there are neighborhoods there, and in the rural areas of Farmington Valley, we have multiple towns coming together to be part of a hunger action team. But the general model is Newington has its own hunger action team, Wethersfield has a hunger action team, West Hartford has a hunger action team. So this is the standard model, but it does vary depending on rural, urban, suburban, and what the best model is to really engage the local partners and have them at the table and start having conversations about hunger with nonprofit organizations, with our food suppliers, with faith-based organizations. We have representatives from the state reps and state senators, local people come and join us. So we found that once we can raise awareness about hunger in the communities in which we work, which we do through newspaper articles, Food Share blog postings, we want to make everybody aware that there are hungry people in your neighborhood where you live. You know, for example, right here in Newington, 22.5% of the students are eligible for free or reduced meals. I think people would be surprised to know the number is that high. So, and that's based on data from school year 2013 and 2014.
Do they know how to go about getting it?
We work closely to get the free and reduced application out and make it available. It's something that certainly people coming through social services. We have seniors raising grandkids, so they need to be aware in this environment. This is a common theme that we hear in multiple hunger action teams at this point. So it's really important to let people know what resources are available and how we can help them. For example, the SNAP participation rate is only 57%. Food Share has an overall goal to get that participation rate up closer to 90% in the communities and the towns that we serve. It's a difficult application, so we do have Food Share resources that are available to help, and we do have we do take SNAP applications at the Kits Lane Stop and Shop. So we do have a partnership with Stop and Shop on numerous fronts. They've been generous with their Food for Friends program with us, and various managers over the last 4 years have been very involved with the Hunger Action Team from Stop and Shop, and working certainly closely with Carol and the Food Bank to help ascertain what their needs are. And also the opportunity to help us fill those gaps.
Would Stop and Shop be a situation where you have, you know, just only this food that they know it's going to expire something within a couple days? I mean, what kind of stuff how can Stop and Shop step up to the plate, as it were?
That type of food, I think, generally, you know, food that getting close to expiration date generally gets funneled through Food Share more directly.
Yep.
What Stop and Shop has done, which has been amazing, is they have bags that they fill specific to our current needs. So they'll call and say, well, what are you low on, Carol? And we'll say, you know, personal hygiene items, jelly, spaghetti sauce, whatever we happen to be low on at that moment. And they'll fill those bags specific to that and sell them for, you know, $10, $5 bags. And that food comes to us directly.
So
absolutely.
You just add it to your tab and you bought a bag of either groceries or supplies for a family.
Exactly. And you didn't have to think about, okay, what do they really need? They know that this is something specific to our food bank that is needed. And they've been great with their staff. They do like Dress Down Fridays and all kinds of different gimmicks throughout the year to support the Food for Friends program. And they've both, Kits Lane and Fen Road, have very generously supported the food bank, the local food bank, in financial donations from that program.
Mr. Mayor, when you first got in office here in Newington, did things like this really come home more to roost than when you weren't in this position? Were you surprised at some of the things you found? Or what?
As a matter of fact, yes. Yes, hearing the numbers that we have so many students eligible for benefits that may or may not be taking advantage of it, that we have that element of the population that is going hungry. I mean, this is Newington. It's not inner Hartford, it's Newington. It's not something you expect here, but it happens.
We seem to have a lot of businesses here in town that have been involved too. Is that part of the role of the Hunger Action Team, as I see it when we were speaking before the program, is we've got the food bank, but the Hunger Action Team, some 70 people average in the town of Newington, actually go out and try to meet with other people in the community, coordinate food drives, coordinate walks and all these different things to get, whether it's businesses or civic groups involved. I think you said the Sequin Lodge had worked with you folks quite a bit here in town. And what are some of the other people, I don't want to leave anybody out, but who are some of the other groups that you've worked with here in town?
Yeah, I don't want to leave anybody out either. I'd say most of the civic organizations have been represented. We've had a recent influx from the General Federation for women. They're involved and interested in doing a program to get food to folks maybe over the weekends when they might not have access to the food bank. Kiwanis and most of the civic Rotary, most of the civic organizations, most of the houses of worship, various businesses in town have either supported the food bank in an ongoing way with established relationships or have gotten involved in the Hunger Action Team. Representative Gary Byron has been very supportive, has attended most of our meetings of late, and is, excited to address those needs.
So if I was a member of the Hunger Action Team, what would my role primarily be? Say, you do this, or we all just have generally the same role, or what are the team members, what's required of the team members?
Well, just to give us their information, and then they would be on our distribution list. And like Carol stated earlier, the attendance does vary for the meetings. We do meet once a month for approximately an hour. Notes are written up and distributed to everybody along with flyers and information. We had Teresa Dotson has been attending a couple of meetings recently from University of St. Joseph Nutrition, and she's had some excellent information that she's provided to us on nutrition and healthy eating. So we have various people that come and contribute various things depending on the time that they have to offer. But the real work happens really between the meetings. So we have little task teams that are formed to do this fundraiser for in the fall that we're talking about.
And what is that?
It's going to be a wine and beer tasting.
Okay, that was
that sounds
you
good.
had mentioned that.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
This is wine and beer tasting to raise awareness, to feed people, but not feed them wine and beer.
Not feed them wine and beer, no. This is to raise money and awareness and benefit the food bank.
And where's that going to be held?
Yeah,
We're
details?
details are forthcoming.
To come.
Okay.
Yes, we're nailing down a few little last-minute issues on that, but they will be forthcoming, and we'd love to get that information
you'll let
to
us
you.
know.
We will let you know. And the benefit of cash donations to the food bank is we can then purchase food. It's not actually purchasing, it's using a user fee at Food Share. So we get food, pennies on the dollar for what it would be in a grocery store.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what about, I noticed you're holding that pamphlet, and I did have that question about that walk. This is a huge walk that takes place every year, and Newington's going to have a strong contingent this year, right?
We're very excited that, again, this year, the Newington Hunger Action Team is going to actually have a hat walk team. And 50% of the money that they raise, I will be a member of this team and contribute to it financially, 50% will come right back here. So this is going to be our 34th year for our annual Walk Against Hunger. Our goal this year is to raise $575,000. It's always held on the first Sunday of the month. It's going to be held this year on May 7th. And it's Lyman McGee Memorial Park, formerly Heartbeat Park in Hartford.
Right over by Hartford Insurance.
Right by the Hartford Insurance. Huge supporters of ours, along with Stop and Shop and many of our other gold and diamond and platinum sponsors, including the Chase Family Foundation. We're very excited that we're going to have our Chase Challenge again this year. So they have a tradition of matching up to $30,000 for the first 50 walkers that are able to raise $600. So this is a great way to incent people to just get them over the hump and raise that additional money, since that money is going to go ahead and be matched. But it's a great event. It's a fabulous day. We have activities for kids. It's a real family day. And we're real excited to have the Hunger Action Team in partnership with the Sequin Lodge and Stop and Shop and many other partners come together. And we have a little competition competition among my Hat Walk team. So the Hat Walk team that raises the most money, I have our fundraising department provide a pizza dinner or a luncheon. So we have a little competition, and I think Newington is well posed to be a real contender again this year.
Well, it's interesting because, as I'm sure Carol knows, my sister's neighborhood over there off of Eagle Park, every Thanksgiving, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. More and more people come to the park in the morning and get together, and they bring over non-perishable food items, and they do a great walk. And it's really close to my heart because, as I mentioned to you before, my dad was very instrumental in getting the food bank started back in the mid-'70s at WDRC, and it's great to see that. It's unfortunate that we still need more and more food banks, but it's wonderful that they are there. And my sister, I think, has one of those turkey hats, and they all come out in costumes, and it's all a lot of fun. But it is amazing, and so many people, I think they do forget that we do have a strong need, not just Newington, but all over Connecticut and all around the country. It's not a need that ever seems to be going away, but you can't be afraid to ask. And even if it's just a little hump you're trying to get over, go to Human Services, talk to the folks at the food pantry, talk to Food Share, and just say, geez, I'm really, some people, I think, Carol, maybe they're a little bit hesitant, and maybe, Mr. Mayor, you see it, that maybe people are a little bit hesitant to ask for help, right? That's
right. Might be pride, whatever, shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, just to encourage people, that any service that's provided at Human Services is strictly confidential.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's no way that your information is going to go out to anybody else. And we do the food bank, but additionally we do an overall holistic assessment of each person's needs and where they're at, and are there programs that they could connect with to make them more independent and self-sufficient. So it's, the food is a piece of it, but we're looking at all of the different, how do we get someone back to work? How do we get someone on a disability program? How do we get people housing, which is such a big need in this area?
I think a lot of people are, like you said, Mr. Mayor, pride, but I also respect, and I know that in many cases with Karen Fatoma and yourself, that we talked to people at Human Services, and you'd be surprised how many people in this town just need to get over that hump. And everything's done on the QT, everything's anonymous. Don't be afraid to just go down there and talk to the folks at the Human Services office. Say this is the situation. It's a good place to start. Just like people always ask about, where do I go? United Way is another way we tell people to go to find out about programs like this, and just by calling 211. But don't be afraid to ask for help. Right?
That's right.
Okay, so important dates to remember. When's our walk going to be?
Sunday, May 7th at 12:30 is check-in. The walk steps off at 2 p.m.
And the beer and wine is going to be determined later.
October.
And your monthly meetings again?
First Tuesday of every month at 5:30, 120 Cedar Avenue, Senior and Disabled Center, right across the street.
Okay.
All are welcome.
Is there a website or a Facebook or anywhere we go on these kind of things? Or
I would direct everybody to www.foodshare.org. You can, from there, you can find information about the walk and search Hunger Action Teams. They will give you the meeting schedule we have for the 20 Hunger Action Teams. And also, really critically important for people, our mobile food share schedule is out there online. If you are in need, it lists where mobile food share is. It's every other week in Newington.
Where does it come to, Carol, in Newington?
It comes to the public parking lot where the flea market is in the center.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That, over the
Constitution Square. Yeah.
Yes, Constitution Square back there where we do have the farmers market and everything, and during the
That's year-round? Or only
year-round, every other Wednesday. Okay. You do, in Newington, you do have to register with the Human Services first, but that's a fairly simple process. So call us up and come in, and we'll get you registered.
Terrific, terrific. And one last thing before you go. I know that I'm involved with the board of directors over at the Connecticut Humane Society, and we're always looking for food for animals. Do you do that at the food bank and food share? You take donations for animals too?
We absolutely do. We have we have all sorts of product that's donated to us. We get toiletries, we get stuff from. So we absolutely do have donations. We're donation based, so when they come in, we do have various channels we can distribute them through. Personally, I'm an animal lover, so we want to meet our help feed our four-legged friends also.
You hear that, Abby? I gave you a plug. My little girl,
We don't
Abby, my
have,
Westie's here tonight.
storage,
Gotta
Steve.
make sure.
We don't have storage at the local, but we refer them to the Humane Society.
Well, you know, it's really
and those
interesting at the
donations are
Humane
taken there.
Society. I think it's like once a month. They have the line goes right down
like
the
a
lot,
drive-through,
and they
yeah.
pull right up to the to a big garage that we have there, and we know what the people need, and it's tough. You don't want to have to worry about losing your animal because you can't feed your animal. Make sure we feed them. Feed all the animals, including our human beings here. All right, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate letting
Pleasure to
people-
be here.
Yeah, and special thanks to the Town Crier also for getting that right on the front page and talking about some good stuff happening. It's really, really good. All right, and keep us up to speed with what's going on in the house.
We'd love to see you at a meeting, Steve.
I'm coming.
There we
Awesome.
go.
When's the next meeting? Tuesday. Is it April?
First April first Tuesday in
April
April.
4th.
All right.
April 4th?
All right, that'll be
Oh,
right
you
at
are
the
a walking
program,
calendar.
There we go.
boy.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'm
Thank
going to
you
mark
so
it down.
much.
I'll be doing a public hearing that night, so I can't go, unfortunately.
They might need food, though. Okay.
I know.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks
Thank you
again.
so much for the
Thank you.
time.
All right.
Bye-bye.
If you're just tuning in, this is the Talk to the Mayor program for the 13th of March, 2017. I'm Steve Parker, and here with me is your Mayor, Roy Zartarian. He's dressed up in the wearing of the green. Of course, congratulations to Sandy Piltz, who was our Newington Irishman of the Year. And I understand it was a pretty darn cold parade for him to be marching in, huh?
It was cold. Number of bands canceled out because it was too cold for the instruments.
Yep.
Too cold to play.
You get lips stuck on your trumpet.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you get spit freezing inside.
Oh, God, it's not good at all.
that doesn't work. Newington was represented. We had 7 councilors there.
Really?
5 were able to walk.
Did Gary make it?
Gary was there.
For the town rep? Okay.
State Senator Doyle was with
Oh,
us.
great.
5 of the councilors were able to walk the route in the wind. Some of us used our malady as an excuse to ride, but
Did you get a chance to ride?
yeah, I rode.
Okay, because if you were walking, you could have tied up the whole parade. They'd
I
still be
know.
out there marching.
It was cold, but it was a good time. Good time as always. And one of the perks of the job I didn't realize, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of fun.
I had the oh my gosh, must have been back in the, I'm going to guess it's maybe the early 2000s. I was honored to be made Irishman of the Year, and I said, "Have you sure you've looked everywhere? Have you checked everywhere? Do you know my background at all?" And my late wife Kelly and I were so happy and so proud to represent Newington, and just waving at the crowds, and it's really something. But hats off to anybody got out there yesterday. Actually, hats on, because they must have been freezing.
It was cold.
Boy,
it
boy,
was
boy.
very cold.
Now I noticed you have some other things that you wanted to bring up here during the program.
We've got, well, while we're talking about helping people, we've got an announcement here about a family that suffered from a structure fire on Pebble Court.
Oh, really?
The house doesn't look bad from the outside, but everything on the inside was destroyed. So donations are being sought to help the family, which is a woman, a mother,
Yep.
and 2 boys aged 7 and 10. The kids have clothes, but the mother was left only with the clothes on her back.
Oh, God.
So if you can help them, please do. I'm going off information handed to me. The mother wears skirts from medium to large, pants size 4 to 6, size 10 shoes. The boys' sizes, shirts smalls and mediums. Pants are sizes 8 to 10 and 12. Shoe sizes are 2 and 3. Or gift cards are always helpful.
Oh, that's the simplest thing in the world to do.
You bet.
Yep.
Believe me, Christmas time, here's your gift card.
Oh, yeah. And you'd be surprised at me with the between Stop and Shop and Target and Kohl's and all those places. You can get some really good bargains with those gift cards.
And the donations can be dropped off at Connecticut Canine on 239 Maple Hill Avenue. Now, if you're watching on Monday the 13th, Connecticut Canine will not be open on Tuesday the 14th because the entire state will be closed down with the blizzard. That's the order of the governor. It takes effect at 5 a.m. travel ban. But Connecticut Canine will be open on Wednesday to accept donations. Hours are 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you in advance for helping a family in need, and Newington does step up.
And I would imagine that if you have any questions or if you'd like to get involved with us at all, you could probably just call over to Connecticut K-9.
Sure.
And they can give you an idea what
Yeah.
they're looking for.
Yeah.
And it's awful to see that, you know.
It is. It is.
I had the same thing happen to a dear friend of mine recently. You know, the outside didn't look too bad.
Yeah.
But the inside was gutted, and it was a really a heavy-duty redo. And, I mean, they found a place to live, but let's face it, you lose all your belongings.
Yeah,
you're not your own.
you're starting over again.
Oh, yeah. So our thoughts and prayers go to them.
The hidden blessing, of course, is that they weren't hurt.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's good.
So all we got to do is try to get her some clothing
Yeah.
and help the kids out.
Sure.
Maybe, yeah, I might be able to help out with some of that
You
stuff,
know,
too.
it's never a good time of year, but this time of year with the weather we're having, it's a really rotten time for something
man, oh,
like
man.
this to happen.
So what else have we got happening around town? How are things doing at the town hall? Are things heated or what? Are you on the good list or the bad list right now?
Well, right now we're on the good list, I think. As I mentioned, if you're watching on the 13th, the state's going to be closed down tomorrow, the 14th. That means Newington Town Hall is going to be closed, library's going to be closed, senior center is going to be closed. Everything's going to be closed down. You can't get there from here, so don't even try. There was scheduled a council public hearing on the budget and a council meeting. That is rescheduled to Wednesday, March 15th at 7 p.m. And that'll be held again in conference room L101. The public hearing, this is an important one. This is one of the 2 charter-mandated public hearings on the budget. It's on the manager's proposed budget. And this is the one where electors in Newington and taxpayers in Newington are the ones who can speak. And I took a load of flack from that last year, but I kept pointing out people are free to speak at the meeting that follows or any other meeting on the subject. It's just, this is a charter restriction. It's not Zartarian's rule. Done by the framers of the charter way back in the late 1960s.
How long do they usually get to speak about it?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? Okay.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. This, I said, is on the town manager's proposed budget. The public hearing, also charter mandated, on the council tentative budget will be on Tuesday, April 4th. And I'm not sure when we'll start that. We had to accommodate the Town Hall Renovation Building Committee by starting the public hearing at 7 to allow the Building Committee enough time to conclude their meeting on Wednesday. So we'll get details out on the town webpage and through the press as to the second public hearing.
All right, we have a few minutes left if you'd like to call. All right, we'll have our phone lines open throughout the rest of the program. 860-667-5814. We are live on your community access television station, NCTV 14. About 7:45 on Monday night, the 13th of March. So if you'd like to call in or send us a question, you could send it to talktothemayor@nctv.org. If you could call in, if you do stay on the phone, if you'd like to talk to the mayor and have a conversation, just have your, make sure your television set is turned all the way down in the background, because otherwise it's a technical glitch, but we won't be able to hear you, you won't be able to hear us. It'll be a real mess, and we don't want that to happen. So if you want to just ask a question, they'll pass it along. But if you'd like to stay on the phone with the mayor, you can do that. 860-667-5814, right there. The number's on your screen. The program will get repeated again, and again. It'll be posted on our nctv.org website, so you can always find this particular program there. If you want to know anything about hunger issues here in town, that was our focus for the beginning of this evening's program. So you can go to nctv.org, and I'm sure that program will be posted in just a short while.
And again, just following up on the blizzard, and the National Weather Service is saying it's a blizzard, going to be a blizzard.
You got your galoshes on yet?
They're at home.
Oh, they're at home, okay.
They're ready to go. Ready to go. Lace up. As we're broadcasting now, the senior center is being prepared in the event a shelter is needed. That's one of our shelter sites in town. The members of the Community Emergency Response Team have been loading up a box truck with the shelter supplies, the cots and whatnot, and getting them over from their storage facility to the senior center. So again, if there's power outages and the need for a shelter arises, Newington's ready to go. And I'm a member of the CERT team. I went through one of the practice runs on managing the shelter, so we pretty much know what we're doing.
So tell people a little bit what the CERT team does.
It is really assists in natural disasters. It runs a primary role would be running the shelter, running and managing a shelter. Certain protocols that have to be followed, dealing with people, dealing with the press, dealing with getting people registered in. There are some members who have specialized in sheltering pets because people will not leave their homes without Fluffy or Fido.
Yep.
And that is a science and a discipline all to itself, the way to set up for basically lodging animals in a shelter situation. And the people that have done it have been through special training on it. So we haven't had to use that yet. We have had the shelters going, but we haven't set up a separate pet shelter to my knowledge. This could be the first time. Last shelter operation we had was the Halloween storm a few years ago.
Yep.
And that was at the high school, I believe, and I think some at the senior center as well. So people learn from experience.
We see some big changes coming out on the Berlin Turnpike, too. Looks like, is it Chick-fil-A that's supposed to be coming in?
Chick-fil-A is going into...
well, Ruby Tuesdays was, right?
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah,
I always get Fridays and Tuesdays confused.
Yeah,
it's Tuesdays that's leaving, Fridays is still here.
You don't know which day it is.
Yeah.
We can understand that.
And Bonefish is going, too, right?
Bonefish is gone. That building, I mean, that is gone.
Oh, I know.
That shouldn't stay vacant too long. But Berlin Turnpike is too attractive a location for restaurants and retailers.
Yeah.
So somebody will pick that up. The the Eversource building at 3333 Berlin Turnpike is being emptied out, and I believe Eversource has a buyer lined up. That should become some sort of retail operation.
Which one? What's going to become a retail operation?
A building owned by Eversource.
Oh, that was the Smart Living Center, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I thought you were talking about the big building. I was like, wait a minute. Not CLMP, not Eversource, but that home place.
Yeah, that accessory building. It's a big building.
Yeah.
But it's
on that square, it's on that square up across the street from Bedding Barn and up the hill a little bit.
Right.
Behind that shop that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's another discussion for another program. But that is a great building up there, though.
Yeah, that is a nice building.
They used to do all kinds of energy information up there, but I guess they got away from that.
So that one's coming up. As far as the corner of Cedar and Russell,
oh, yeah. What's going on there?
That's the original project is not going to happen. That just never worked out. So the owner of the property is looking for operators of assisted living facilities, something of a smaller scale that may go in there. Just trying to think what else.
Oh, we have the ever popular question about how's the town hall renovation going along.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I have my notes right in front of me right here. There's going to be a meeting on the 15th, and at the meeting, the architect is going to outline the preliminary space needs program study with conceptual architectural rendering. Studies and renderings will be posted on the town's website after that meeting. That meeting is Wednesday, March 15th. So if you're watching the taped version,
you might have gone past that date already.
Yeah. Oh, and Scott Greskowski is telling me to say what time. The meeting will be at 5 p.m. It will be broadcast, I believe, by NCTV, and of course rebroadcast afterwards. And that meeting is in the town hall, conference room L101. This committee has been going great guns, and it looks like They are on target to get this project finalized to the town council, and with all going well, to referendum in June. So we may yet see a new building. We may yet see something happen to this building. So that's where that is. As far as what the architect has said, I don't know. I mean, I will be at the committee meeting, I hope. I've got a council meeting after that, but what the heck.
Oh, come on! You got to be everywhere.
You
What about
bet.
some good news? We have anything fairly new opening around town, or anything good that you're seeing out there?
I'm trying to think. The last grand opening, of course, was our guest last month with Cafe Louise at Indian Hill.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't know if she's gotten into full operation yet
Okay.
or not.
I guess they had a ribbon cutting or something
Yeah,
up there
they had
recently.
ribbon cutting. They had wine and cheese
Yep,
and
yep.
sample finger foods that her people had prepared, and pretty darn good.
Yep,
Pretty
yep.
darn good. We've got to look into that and see when she's ready to get sit-down customers there.
So now we have the possibility, as the mayor keeps talking about, this huge storm coming in again, and of course I'll never forget the storm on the 13th and the 14th of 1993 in March 13th and 14th, 1993, because that was a big blizzard then.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember, God, I lost my dad during that storm. Not because of the storm, but he was in the hospital, and I just remember what a huge, huge storm that was. And they're talking that this thing could really
This
be
is, yeah,
powerful.
they're saying 18 to 24 inches of snow throughout the state, blizzard force winds. Eversource is geared up, the state is geared up.
But how's our budget geared up for it? How much money do we have in that snow fund? Can we do that?
Well, we've got contingency to cover overages above the line item. If it is bad enough, there should be federal assistance through the Federal Emergency Management Agency to provide some reimbursement to towns for the plowing expenses and whatnot. And I want to say something, too. You know, the last storm we had, there are one or two individuals on Facebook griping about the way Church Street was plowed at the height of the storm. Give me a break.
Oh, God.
Give me a break. Purpose of plowing, the first run of plowing, is to open a lane for emergency vehicles.
Right,
It's
right.
not so you can go shopping or go out and have a good time. I mean, yeah, it'll get cleared. It will. But first priority is emergency. Police, fire, ambulance. If you're there having a heart attack in your driveway from shoveling, you know, you want to
You want that ambulance to get you,
want to make
right?
sure the ambulance can get there.
Yep, yep.
And there's enough coordination that if it's a side street, highway department will be notified and we'll send a plow to open a street for emergency vehicles as needed. So don't gripe.
Well, you know, you got it. I mean, nobody ever calls and says how many great steaks there were last week at the restaurant. But if there's one bad one, everybody will let you know. Special thanks before we go to our volunteers, Mike Rosenkrantz, of course, without his mom and dad here, you know. Without Doc Rosenkrantz and Vicki Rosenkrantz, nothing would ever get done here. We've got Robert Blank, and then we've got Robert J. Blank, John Donahue, Scott Kriskowski, Ellen Schiller. You can always count on Ellen Schiller. I almost combined her two names, Ellen. And, of course, Dr. Ted Rosenkrantz, the best. And Brandon LaChance is back there. Brandon, who's gone on to become a great Newington police officer,
That's
doing a heck of a
right.
job. He still remembers his roots and comes over here next door every now and then to keep us up and keep us in line, and that really means a lot. So thank you very much, Brandon. It really, really is something. Oh, and you know, what we talk about is the fact that we're always looking for more volunteers. And this we can't say enough, because we're always looking for new ideas. We're always looking for fresh programs, fresh faces. Just if you want to say if we're doing a good job or a lousy job, it's the last Thursday of each month. right down here at our studios. If you go to the back of the town hall down by the police station, don't walk into the police station because that'll be a whole nother scene. Go to the right of the police station where it says municipal building. Just go in through the doors there and we'll get you in and get you out right away. The meeting's at 7 o'clock. We usually try to talk to anybody who comes in, any public speaking at the beginning of that meeting so you don't have to sit through the rest of it. But really, all ages and shapes and sizes, we just need your help here. So please come down, help out, and just become part of NCTV 14 because it's really kind of cool. But we also need more people involved. That's what it is.
Absolutely. This is a top drawer operation here.
We try.
And again, it's all volunteer, but volunteers have their limits. So absolutely nothing wrong with fresh blood.
How was the turnout at the State of the Town?
State of the Town was good turnout.
Yeah,
It was good turnout. I think there were about 60 to 70 people there. I didn't put anybody to sleep, as far as I could tell. Maybe it was the potent coffee that was prepared for them. Bacon at the breakfast, I think, was the best I've ever had there. They really did a great job on the bacon. And Tanya Lane and I both spoke. I spoke about what's happening in terms of businesses in town. And Tanya talked about the fiscal status of the town because we're facing a lot of challenges with this budget. The expenditure's been cut to the bone. The townside departments came in almost completely at a near 0% increase. The problem comes with the money coming in. You can depend only so much on taxes. We don't know what we're going to end up with from the state. There are two different versions. One from the governor's office shows us making money. Our in-house analysis shows us losing a lot more money. So it's going to be a very challenging year. Again, the challenge is not on the expenditure side. It's on the income side. And we know there's state money that we had received in the past we're not going to see anymore. It means we're going to have to find different ways of doing business, keep our heads afloat.
Oh, yeah. Sure. No problem, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Just keep us on the square. I also want to thank, special thanks tonight to our guest during the first half of the program, Carol Lebrecht from Human Services. She's our coordinator with Human Services, and also Karen Fatoma, who I know was at a Youth Adult Council meeting tonight, so I want to thank Karen, too, as always, because I'm supposed to be at that meeting, but because we moved this to the second.
That's right.
That's another idea. And also, we had Beatrice came in from Beatrice Maslowski, and she's the community network builder for the Hunger Action Teams. We're so happy to have a Hunger Action Team here in Newington. So it's really, we're really fortunate to have them and have them come in really at a moment's notice because I had seen the article in the Town Crier, and the mayor and I are usually going back and forth on different guests. And I figured I would take a shot at the last minute. And Barbara Womer, who I want to thank her for everything she's doing here in town because she coordinates the Hunger Action Team for the entire town of Newington. And it seems like they can always use more volunteers over there. So just reach out to Human Services and see if maybe Carol Lebrecht's around and she could help you out. How's everything else going at the church? Everything okay?
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
You bet.
I see you over there on Church Street on Maple Hill Avenue.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And what's the name of that church again?
Grace Episcopal.
And that's been around here for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
But you're always looking for more parishioners, right?
All the time. Everybody is.
Yeah.
Everybody is.
And he makes a really great roast beef dinner. I've been
Not this year. This year we took a year off.
Oh, you take the year off. All right, everybody. Have a happy Thanksgiving.